Hello, I'm Bill Bullard with RCAP USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the United States of America. Well, it wasn't long ago that the cattle industry had a much more robust price discovery market. In the mid-2000s, every one of the 5 fed cattle regions maintained a negotiated cash market volume that was either near 50% or well above 50%. Then 2 things happened. First, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, or USDA, issued its livestock and meat marketing study that said packers gain efficiency when they can control the cattle supply chain through captive supply contracts. Second, the 4 largest packers joined with the National Cattlemen's Beef Association to lobby for packer control of livestock. They stated, and I quote, "Packers must own some or all of their livestock to ensure a steady, adequate supply of the particular type of livestock they need for their product mix." Now, this empowered the packers to capture more control over the live cattle supply chain. And in 7 short years, from 2005 to 2012, the volume in the cattle industry's most important price discovery market, the negotiated cash market, was cut in half, which greatly increased the packers' control over the entire live cattle supply chain. But in the southern region, the Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico region, the cash market volume was slashed nearly 80% during that same period. And very importantly, the rapid decline in the volume of the cash market coincided with a rapid decline in the number of smaller size feedlots. We witnessed a 15% decline in the number of smaller farmer feeders during that time. We also witnessed a rapid growth in the number of the largest feedlot companies, which grew 18% in number. Now, all of this makes sense. As they shrank the cash market, the packers gained more control over the supply chain, and they could then begin choosing who they would contract with, which left thousands of smaller feeders that sold in the cash market with no viable market, and they went out of business. Meanwhile, the largest feedlots, which were preferred by the packers, grew both in size and in number. Now, to summarize this, as packers shrank the cash market, they gained more control over the cattle supply chain, and thousands of feedlots exited the industry. Which means, of course, that lower cash market volumes in the fed cattle market also results in less competition for lighter weight feeder cattle. Obviously, with fewer and fewer feedlots, there will be fewer and fewer buyers for cattle producers that sell feeder cattle. Now, to make this as clear as possible, the lower the cash market volume, the less competition there is along the entire live cattle supply chain. So why didn't anyone do anything about this loss of competition then, and why isn't anyone doing anything about this loss of competition now? Well, the answer is that everyone, including Congress and the USDA, has bought into the meatpacking lobby's argument that more captive supply contracts mean more market efficiency for everyone, consumers, packers, and producers, and that this efficiency offsets the loss of competition. Now, a 2014 USDA study found that the lower cash cattle prices caused by captive supplies are offset by benefits flowing largely to beef packers and beef marketers. In fact, it found that 90% of the claimed efficiency benefits are actually increases in revenues to beef packers and the beef marketing industry. Let me say that again, but in another way. The recent USDA study shows that reduced cash volume results in lower cattle prices paid to cash cattle sellers. However, USDA says that everyone other than cash cattle sellers receive offsetting benefits, and 90% of those benefits are actually increases in revenues to beef packers and beef marketers. So now you know why the packers and their allies are fighting so hard to stop the 5014 or the spot market protection bill. It's because the increased competition the bill will cause will reduce the 90% share of the so-called efficiencies the beef packers and beef marketers now enjoy with lower cattle prices. The meatpacking lobby also argues that packers that shrink their cash market and reduce competition the most should be rewarded by locking in lower cash volume requirements in their regions. Now, this will limit opportunities for new feeders and will have a chilling effect on any new local packing plant startups, as there would be only a limited supply of cattle not already committed to the largest packers in those regions. So this approach is certain to further reduce competition and further reduce economic opportunities in our U.S. cattle industry. Please go to our website at r-calfusa.com to learn more and to join with us so we can become strong enough to fashion a more profitable future for you and the next generations. With that, thank you and have a productive week.